Dean, TEC Bytes is dead. Long live the Pulse.
The Pulse.
It's here.
Yes.
For anyone who's like, well, I don't
Hip,
get
hip,
it.
Hooray.
What are these people
Pulse.
screaming in my ears about? We mentioned late last year that we wanted to shake up the name of these episodes because we were naming it in the convention of the old Tech Connect podcast.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So it was TEC
Bytes. Yes.
And we could have still stuck with that. We did for several episodes last year. Obviously.
Oh, we did. Yeah, for sure.
But
haven't we been doing that for like 5 years now?
But we've only been the BlueStar Nation. For
yes.
So we want to shake things up a little bit. This is, by the way, our episodes where we dig a little bit deeper into some water cooler topics.
Yes.
It's like the What's on Your Radar segment, but more talking.
And TEC Bytes, we were always accused of not really actually talking about technology.
That is also
so it was kind of a bit of a misnomer.
That is also quite true. Like there's usually like
it was
maybe
more like
a tech
just riffing.
Piece,
yes,
but it's a lot of times just more like I don't know, just
pick a topic,
topics, business,
that's right,
social stuff,
that's right,
economic stuff. Who knows? Yeah.
Yes. So we're just rebranding, is what you're saying.
Okay, and now I'm going to put out that I put out a call for some names.
Okay.
None of you all out there in podcast land,
they're in trouble.
Responded.
Okay.
So
we had to come up with our own.
For you. Sorry. Marco threw some ideas my way, and I forgot what they promptly were. They all were. I'm sorry, Marco. They were probably really good though. So
way to cover yourself. Yeah.
So I ended up turning to AI and asking it, saying, "Hey, give me some idea. Here's the things that we're doing. Here's the name of the podcast.
There you go.
Can you give me some suggestions?" I'm going to be honest. Most of the suggestions were kind of meh.
Yeah.
But there was a couple I threw your way, and we settled on the Pulse.
There you go. The Pulse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just keeping a pulse on the nation.
Feels very generic, but whatever. Who cares? It's our podcast. Either way, we're just going to be riffing on ideas. So
we can come up with a new name all the time. I mean,
maybe
we make up these rules.
Maybe that's the gimmick. We just every new one's a brand new name.
It's just a new name until we find one that really latches on.
There you go. I like
this. Is the pulse of the nation.
I like it. The pulse of the nation. There you go. This we're just shortening it up because everything's got to be shortened these days. All right. Well, speaking of AI, today we're going to be discussing America's perception of AI.
We are.
We're going to talk about airport flight delays, everyone's favorite thing. What practical tasks you can or cannot do. Netflix's latest gimmick, and where are you safest in our country?
There
I'm John Martin.
And I'm Dean Reverman.
Welcome to BlueStar Nation. BlueStar Nation podcast is brought to you by ELO. The ELO backpack with Intel delivers a powerful enterprise-grade PC, mini PC, I should say. Complete with Windows 11 or no OS, powerful Intel processors, Wi-Fi 6E, and connectivity to satisfy all your needs. From digital signage and self-service kiosk to kitchen display systems and automation controls, scaling ELO's commercial Windows platform across sizes and form factors has never been easier. ELO backpack can be turned on or off remotely. We love that these days.
We love that. Remote on and off?
Yeah, everybody loves it.
Especially like your car on a cold day. Remote on and off is really nice. Really
big
nice.
fan. We're in the slogs of the winter storm, as 75% of the country has been right now.
Yes.
That's very much appreciated. Yes. So regardless of its location, you can do that remote on off. It's also purpose-built to accommodate compact spaces with a small footprint in both size and weight, universal DC mount, plenty of connectivity options, and AI-ready Intel processing power make the backpack the perfect pairing for any touch monitor. Now, again, I'm going to keep it out there. We still have our offer on the table.
Yes.
That we think that ELO should put the ELO backpack.
I was just about to go there. I was about to ask, do we know if the backpack is in the backpack yet?
I don't know. I need to run that. I'll run that by our ELO team.
Yeah, I think we do.
Listen, I've got
we
a
need
pitch,
answers. Yes.
And if they like it, I just want like 1%.
I've thought about it. It could even be you want just 1%.
They can decide what is 1%.
It could just be a high-end offer, like a Louis Vuitton backpack with the backpack in it, and give that out as like a really special thing to start drumming up some demand.
Like maybe if you order
just ideas for John Lamb and the
100 or more backpacks for your facility, you get a Louis Vuitton backpack
in the backpack. Yes, backpack.
For the record, ELO did not sign off on any of this.
No, none of this.
This is not actually part of the ad copy.
No, none of this.
This is just a couple of goobers speculating on ideas that they will not back up or endorse.
We're more than goobers. We're marketing geniuses that want to put the backpack in the backpack.
That's right.
There you go.
Check out the link in the show notes or contact the BlueStar ELO team to learn more or hassle them to put a backpack in a backpack. All right, Dean, let's get into it here.
Yes.
Let's get into our pulse. We're taking a pulse of the nation by riffing on random topics. I'm going to let you kick it off here and because we always have to talk about AI at some point.
Well, we got to get it out of the bag first.
What's going on with AI?
Well, there's this topic going on around here about like all the doomsday people, right? Like AI is taking over the world. By the way, have you backed yourself off the cliff of are we?
Yes.
It's not going to be cyborgs, and I mean we're in 2026 now. I think you were actually claiming that by this year we would have cyborgs and what is it, the ArcNet or whatever was going to take over the world.
You're going to need the data.
I don't know. I think Marco can bring back the tape from 4 years ago, and AI was doomed.
So Marco, the next week and the time it takes for us to record and put this episode, I'm going to need you to scrub through 250 plus episodes and find out where I said.
Well, luckily we can use Gen AI for that.
That's true.
You can just and it'll spit out the answer in seconds. But anyway,
no, I'm a little less doom and gloom. I will admit,
less doom and gloom.
And we'll get into this when we talk about this. But I found a little bit more practical use cases for myself for AI.
So that's where I'm at.
There are some potential benefits.
I think that the society in general is still a little overhyped on what AI is going to do. So what helps us is a Pew Research study, which it's legit, right? This is pretty legit.
It's their gig.
And I love it. So I thought we'd riff about it. And the title of it is, how Americans view AI and its impact on people and society. So here are the big bullet points. Americans, and I think this is just Americans that they queried on this. Americans are much more concerned than excited about the increase of AI in daily life, with a majority of saying they want more control over how AI is used in their lives. So there you go. There's one of the headlines, right? So there's concern more than excitement about AI. Now, if you compare that, which this study does not do, to China, for example, it's the exact inverse. They are more excited about the potential of AI than they are concerned about how its usage. And this is, when you hear about people in the AI industry talking about it, this is the core of really like our ability, meaning our Western society's ability to own and operate AI in a globally dominant way. Okay. So you kind of need people to be on the same page. And apparently right now they're not on the same page. They're a little bit more concerned than they are excited, right? Far larger shares say AI will erode than improve people's ability to think creatively and form meaningful relationships. So let's riff on this for just a second. Yeah. AI will erode people's ability to think creatively. What do you think about that?
To some extent, I do agree.
Yeah.
Because I think people will try to use it as a shortcut.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot, I've heard a lot of studies about, educators and teachers are concerned that it's going to make children less inclined to actually learn things because they can turn to the AI. However, my caveat to that is, at some point, math teachers probably said the same thing about the calculator.
True.
And I guess the end result of that is, well, there's, to your point, yes, maybe we are a little bit lazier about learning math.
Yeah.
But we also have never felt a need to go back. We're like, I still don't need to know how to do cosines and fractions in my day-to-day life. Again, I understand the reasoning behind that stuff.
I do too. And it's interesting to think about because, when I think about creativity, to me, it's boiling down to like, what is your ability to do prompt art engineering?
Right.
Like prompt engineering is like a new art.
Right.
That is the new art. If you can engineer a prompt correctly, that now you can actually make the AI do something that is creative. So I think that and then you're kind of talking about maybe a skills gap, right? Those who know how to use AI, how to do prompt engineering, those who don't. And those who don't maybe are going to be kind of left behind because if you're a person that has that understands how to use AI and can do it effectively, just think about how much more effective that individual would be rather than somebody who doesn't.
Exactly.
And I think that's more of like where it's going, and there is some concern there, right? What are the guardrails around that? So,
well, I think also to interject real quick, there's also been there's a lot of skepticism from the beginning of like, oh, this gets rid of the creative types. We don't need writers. We don't need artists anymore. I mean, I think we've established that is not the case.
That's not the case. Yeah.
And again, as someone who is a creative type, I guess you could say, I have learned how to adopt AI into my workflow, but I've also very quickly and easily learned, hey, I can use this, but it still needs me.
It does.
It still needs whether it's for the prompting part, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
like I think that can be a huge part of it, but also even if you just go very bare bones and tell it what you want, to get something that is going to be in any way useful or is not just going to look like the generic crap that anyone can get this spit out of their AI, you still need a little bit of that human touch, human creativity to polish, to smooth things out.
At least for now, for sure. Absolutely.
Again, yeah, maybe
but I think that's the case
but
in any industry. I mean, we kind of talk about marketing because that's where we live.
Right.
But lawyers, same thing.
Yeah.
Doctors, same thing. But I mean, there are some areas where obviously, if you're doing research or something like that, it can enable an individual to really kind of expedite that whole process. So that's relevant for lawyers who have to go through case study and blah, blah, blah. And paralegals, for example. Maybe there's going to be an erosion of some paralegals out there. But anyway, it is fascinating. The next bullet point, though, is at the same time, a majority is open to letting AI assist them in day-to-day tasks and activities. So this is kind of the nirvana around AI that I'm kind of waiting for. Like
agentic stuff. Yeah.
My little agent. Where's my AI agent that's going to like organize my life? And I just need to speak it. Like, hey, change my flight to whatever. And then it just happens.
Right. And you don't have to sit on a phone for 2 hours.
Exactly. I don't have to log in, sit on a phone for a couple hours. That I'm kind of waiting for. So the day-to-day task thing, there we go. Yeah. Most Americans don't support AI playing a role in personal matters such as religion and matchmaking. I'm good on that one. Like, although the matchmaking thing
is funny because stuff like Match.com and Personals. Like there's been services out there that maybe it's not AI, but it's kind of the same idea. Of like, you say who you are, what you're looking for, and a computer somewhere
here's a match
shows people to you based on what you've said. I mean, you're we've kind of already been outsourced that a little bit. Maybe not like.
I guess what I was thinking about here is these people that have an actual relationship with AI. As though it were there.
Yeah, that's a whole.
That's more than matchmaking. That is different, I guess. That's a relationship, right?
Yes, exactly.
And that scares me.
That is someone confusing what an AI does for you because it's programmed versus what actual human beings can do.
That's right.
You. Yes.
So people are more open to AI for doing heavy data analysis, which is good. Weather forecasting, developing new medicines, those types of things. I think we can all agree on that. Like that seems like a pretty innocuous kind of use case.
Give
of
me the
using
stuff
AI.
That's going to make the world and
better.
Society and all of us
faster.
a better place.
Yeah. Solve cancer tomorrow.
Yeah.
Use AI.
I'm game for AI for any of that.
There you go. Americans feel strongly that it's important to be able to tell if a picture, videos, or text are made by AI or humans. I agree with this, and I think we're going to get there eventually. Like
I think so.
Whether they put a pixel in the video or there's ways, right, that you can do.
Yeah, there's already existing stuff like that. But
I mean, I can still tell it today, but I can tell. Every month that goes by, it's like
it's getting better every day.
Better, yeah.
There are stuff like TikTok, for instance, has become a lot of AI stuff on TikTok. And typically speaking, they're supposed to put there's like a little note at the bottom that says, created by AI or whatever, something, a watermark of some sort. But every now and then you'll come across something that is not, and it will take a moment. There's been stuff that I've seen that I have to go, and you look close enough and spend enough time, sure. But the problem is, let's be honest, a lot of people don't look close enough and spend enough time. Or they don't,
exactly.
So I agree. My concern is I'm worried, as with a lot of things, that sometimes getting us where we need to go with that is going to require something kind of bad happening, like some kind of disastrous something that fools people or something, or like a big, just an inflection point of some sort that will force.
It's hard to think of what that might be.
I don't know either.
Like a fake 9/11 type of incident where,
something
or the War of the Worlds. I mean, when you think about these technologies, if you remember, that was a radio drama that freaked everybody out because they thought it was real. And so you had people like heading for the hills, literally.
That is exactly,
and it was a radio drama.
I have a feeling we might be heading for a moment like that, and it will because. Let's be honest. Unfortunately, to make this happen, I know you're not a big regulation guy, but for us to get to that AI detection
that
level,
might be one of,
there probably will have to be some kind of government intervention, and there'll have to be some kind of regulation set up around it.
Well, I wonder if it's like, or like on, X now, there's the community notes. Well, maybe there's like just an automatic AI detector,
right?
And not just in X,
what the AI,
but I'm saying, well, like there are things you can go to GPT-0 and you put in the text, and it'll tell you, well, we think 80% of this was human. 20% of this
but I think
AI.
the point I think of this study, and for most people's opinion about it, there should be no extra steps for you to have to take.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We as people should not have to go copy and paste crap or whatever.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like maybe our world is going to get there. That's why I was going with the X thing. Like maybe on X, it'll just flag it as
Right.
AI generated. Or if you're on YouTube, it'll just flag it as,
Right.
Heavily made by Gen AI.
Because right now, a lot of that is dependent on, it's incumbent on us.
That's right.
Like when I post, one of the podcasts to YouTube, for instance, there's an option that asks me, was any part of this created or generated by AI?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I can click yes or no. I can make that choice. And if I could lie and
But you
say
can lie.
no.
Yeah.
But I'm putting no because no, we don't. So
I wonder why it asked that question.
There.
Does it put
I think it will. I think there'll be some kind of a tag that probably
stamp
gets
or a tag?
inserted or something in the description or whatever that will indicate
Got it.
that there is AI elements included in that.
Yep.
But again, right now, when you're beholden on people to do that, there's always going to be bad actors who are going to be like, well, I'm not going to do that because I want people to think this is real. So.
Yes. And by the way, when you look at the statistics, it's 76% of people think it's extremely important for you to be able to tell between human generated and AI, with 17% somewhat. So if you tally the two of those up, I mean, you're close to 90%.
The majority of people,
94% of people think that's a lot of people, right? That's like
6%
almost everybody.
they did it are sitting there running AI farms or whatever, where they're trying to trick people to give them their social security number.
Now,
I don't think that's a good idea at all.
Now, back on the question around, Americans more concerned than excited about it. It's interesting because they actually asked that question back in 2021, and then they've been asking it every year, and you do see a bump of concern when ChatGPT kind of hit the water, if you will. And so it went from like 37% of people like really concerned to now 52%.
Right.
So that, I think GPT really kind of flamed or whatever, added a little bit of fuel. Thank you. Add a little fuel to the flame around anxiety around AI type of thing. So when you think about it, and they asked, what are areas that you would support the use of AI? So focus or forecasting weather, high rank, searching for financial crimes, searching for fraud and government benefits claims. Oh my gosh, that's going to blow up this year. I guarantee it. So those are great uses for AI. But when, not so good uses, making decisions about how to govern the country, that's a good one. Yeah, let's keep AI out of that one. Judging whether two people could fall in love. So that's just like, keep the AI out is what people are saying. I don't know. You're not.
Well, because here's the thing. That's going to happen. I guarantee you, there's probably already some kind of services out there that are using AI to couple people up and basically saying, hey, the AI said we're perfect for each other, so I guess let's do this. And finding out like, oh no, that actually didn't work out the way I thought it would. But that's probably already happening.
Well, anyway, I'm in favor of AI. I think the industry can do a better job of kind of positioning it and not letting these disinformation things go around. It's tagged to like data centers too. There's a lot of misinformation around those as well. But at the end of the road, I do feel it's important for the West and the U.S. specifically to kind of own this technology.
I genuinely do think that healthy skepticism is good. It's always good.
Absolutely.
And I don't care what it is. I think having some people be a little bit skeptical and being a little unsure, because again, to the point about this, like it helps you being able to have that radar app that tells you when something is AI generated. And tells you when something that you shouldn't instantly believe something. So I'm okay with it. I think there should be even once we have perfected this, I think there should be a decent amount of skepticism around it to like understand like, hey, there can always be flaws or there can always be bad actors that can manipulate.
And I think we're all on the same page there. Yeah. So progress with with some guardrails and some thought behind it.
Cautious optimism.
Cautious optimism. There you go. Yeah. Because I think the amount of good it could do, that's just, you read the stories about how it's 1000xing research and stuff. I mean, these are the wins that we need to start seeing in the next whatever year or so, then people will really start buying in. So anyway, do we need do we need AI for airport delays?
Oh, we might. And again, I think that's probably something that's starting to happen as well. But got another one of our great visual capitalist diagram surveys,
yes, we love
illustrations.
These.
I always love this stuff. So
we're such visual people, aren't we?
It really is. Yeah. This is the U.S. airports with the most delays. They did a ranking as of July of 2025. And basically, they just looked at the number of monthly flights coming out of these airports and their total on-time rate. And basically, we've got them ranked from the worst on-time rates all the way up to the highest. The lowest sit at 60%, and you get up to the highest at 87%. So if you expect there to be an airport that is like close to 100% on time, no, that's not
it doesn't happen.
90% is like the lowest benchmark you should try to aim for, probably for most of them. But let's talk about some of the top ones here. So
all right, sir.
There are two. When I looked at the top 5, there are two that I feel like should not be a surprise to anyone.
Okay.
DCA, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And O'Hare.
Yes.
Which, are also two very busy airports, especially O'Hare. O'Hare is one of the busiest in the country, if not the world.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
So those are two that, yes, I think if you frequently go through either of those airports, you have probably experienced a delay, if not several at some point.
But in fairness to O'Hare, 78,000 flights a month, I mean, that's a lot. And it
true.
dwarfs even Reagan, which only has, call it 25,000 flights. So the only one that
comes close is what?
Atlanta, probably.
And Atlanta and Denver, and those are only in the 50s.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a lot more flights that are going through O'Hare. So
no doubt about it.
That 64% mark still is, not as horrific as potentially it could be, I guess.
All right.
The very bottom of the list is ISP, Long Island MacArthur. I don't think I've ever been through this airport.
Unfortunately, I've been through once.
Have you?
Yes.
Did you get delayed?
I believe I did. As a matter of fact, and it was a sunny day.
Apparently, they have a 60.3% on-time rate.
That's crazy.
So almost half the time
you're not going to be on time.
There's a good chance you are not going to be on. So
what is the problem?
If you're going through that airport, make sure you don't have a short layover there because there's probably going to be an issue.
There's only 6,000 flights a month. It's not a big airport.
Seriously.
It's like Dayton-ish, maybe a little big, just to give you context.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a very big, so it's like, why are we struggling at Iceland?
I don't know. The other one I found funny here was Nome, Alaska.
I'll give Nome.
I'm like, come on, like
snow,
right? I mean, like weather conditions. I mean, you could say that's part of maybe the reason why O'Hare and Ronald Reagan might be.
Yes, well, it does make that comment in this article.
Yeah, because weather can very much affect both of those 100% dramatically, as well as the number 4 one on the list, which was Newark Liberty.
Yeah.
So again, if you're in places where you'll know when we get to the bottom of this list, the most on time. Where are they? Some of the nicest, most beautiful places in the country. Honolulu International,
number 1,
has the best on-time rate at 87.4%. Palm Beach International is behind that. You've also got Kahului is on there, so you've got some nice places. Salt Lake City International, that one's pretty high on the list, as well as John Wayne.
Yes,
those are our top 4 ones.
Well, those were my 2 comments. John Wayne, if I'm going to L.A., I prefer to fly in and out. That's Orange County. Yeah. I think that one of the reasons why that's probably so high is, yes, the weather, but you can't take off until like 7 a.m., I think. So it's like they limit when you can take off and land. So if there's a window there, it's like all the planes stack up and they're ready to go, kind of a thing in the morning. But Salt Lake City, kudos. Yeah. I love that airport. I'm glad to see it's really high on the on time.
It is a pretty good, efficient one.
Yeah.
If you're wondering about something like in Atlanta, for instance, which is a big hub, especially those of us here on the East Coast, there's a good chance you go anywhere, especially if you fly Delta, you're going through Atlanta at some point. They're surprisingly have a good on-time rate.
Yes, they do.
79.2%.
Yep.
When I think about it, I can't think of too many times, if ever, that I've been delayed in Atlanta.
Yeah, that is solid.
For as many times as I've been through there, I don't think it's happened a lot.
Yep,
so.
that is solid.
For us here in our Northern Kentucky, Ohio tri-state area, CVG, our local airport, which is quite literally right down the road from where we are right now, is right about smack dab in the middle. It's not not too high, not too too far down the list. We're pretty much
not hideous.
Mid-tier on that one at 73.6%. So I'll take it. Again, I haven't had too many issues at our own local airport either. So. Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's some good stats for you. Maybe, as always, we always drop all the links to all this articles and stuff we're talking about in our show notes. So this might be a good one for you to go click, save it somewhere, and just keep it in mind and check in on this one whenever you're booking flights. To, again, if you're looking at a very short window of a layover, maybe skip some of the airports that are in the upper half because you might have some. Actually, I guess if you're on a layover, the delays won't be as big of a deal. Maybe if your initial flight, and you're going somewhere where you're going to have a short layover, make sure that initial flight is out of one of these better airports.
Yes, absolutely. I do. I
live
by that. Yes. Yeah. Like I said, I avoid some of those worse ones like the plague.
I don't blame you.
Try not to go.
You do a lot more traveling than I do, so I'm sure you're pretty familiar with what does and what doesn't work. All right, Dean, let's talk a little bit more. Another poll about Americans and what they can and cannot do. This is going to be a fun one. This is going to be a fascinating conversation.
Well, yeah, maybe how do you deal with delays, I guess? Is that a task that Americans can or can't do? But anyway, given
what I see in airports most of the time, it's cannot. Most people cannot handle anything that gets in, it slows them down at all.
That's right. So this is another Pew research. I love Pew. Yep. So we got, and this one's really simple. It's a very small research, but the title is most Americans say practical tasks that Americans can or can't do, or what they feel comfortable.
I think they could or couldn't do.
Couldn't do. So I'm gonna give you the top 3 and the bottom 3, and then let's riff on them. Okay.
Yep.
So the top 3 of what Americans feel confident they can do is remove a stain from your clothes, clean or care for a wound, or make sense of nutritional labels. Okay, so there's your top 3 that we feel confident in. What are we not so sure of? Weatherproofing doors and windows, explaining high-pressure systems on a weather map, fixing a problem with a car's engine. Okay, yeah, which I would hard agree. So let's go back to the ones that we're feeling confident on, and I think we're feeling a little overconfident in general with these. So removing a stain from your clothes, most people feel either definitely or probably 95%
said they felt pretty good that they could do it.
Okay, so I'm in the 5% that can't, because I got kicked off of the laundry crew in my house a long time ago because I left a pen in with the whites, so that just kicked me off. So anyway, what do you feel like? Do you feel confident that you can get a stain out of clothes?
Well, so here's because I'm curious of the context of this as always, because
unique context.
I also feel like
there's a stain on your clothes. Today's I get you. Today's modern washing machines. Yes.
Typically don't need a lot of effort to pre-work on a stain.
Okay. They're that good is what you're saying?
I've had stuff with like blood stains on it, for instance.
You just threw it in
for reason.
And didn't pre-treat it.
Did not pre-treat. And as long as I think you're doing it in a reasonable amount of time, you can expect a modern washing machine to take care of that without many issues.
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, again, unless it was like, I don't know, from like a stabbing or a gunshot wound. Maybe that's a little bit of a deeper stain that you might need to put a little more work into.
No, I think this is a reasonable stain.
Just
wine. I think wine.
Yeah,
right?
like a wine stain.
You get a little wine stain on
right.
your shirt. Okay.
Now I will say actually, wine is a little trickier. I've had to deal with some of that. That does require a little more work. Maybe you bust out the
pizza sauce,
whatever stain spray or something. Pizza sauce maybe. Again, I think
that's what I would do. I would just go for the stain stick or whatever. Right. Spray shout on it.
If we're talking about, hey, I need to get this out without being able to wash it because I need to wear it into a function or something, then yes, I might struggle with that.
Okay.
I mean, if the basics of like soap and water, or maybe some kind of sparkly water or something like that, or some baking soda or whatever, and soda don't do it, then yes, I also might be struggling.
But I'll give leeway on this one. I still think it's high that 95% of people think that they probably or definitely could handle could handle stains. But I'll concede that one just because of everything that you said. The next one, I'm not so sure, but I'm getting hung up on a word. So again is clean and care for a wound. So a wound to me is like more than just a cut, more than just a hangnail, more than just I scraped my knee on. I fell down and I scraped my knee. A wound is like a wound. Like you got to take care of it. 94% of people feel like they could definitely or probably clean and care for a wound. I'm not so sure. I think we're a little overconfident.
I'm going to...
What angle you
I'm going to dig in here and look real quick because they link to like where you can ask the questions. Where you can see the actual questions that were asked.
Yes.
And I'm curious how that question was worded, if it was at all.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know we could drill into it here.
It looks like it just says clean and care for a wound. So
how would you read that?
Well, that's just it. To your point, maybe it's because I've been watching The Pit.
It doesn't
lately,
say a cut.
And I'm a big fan of like medical dramas and stuff.
Okay, got it.
I think of wound like you as something that is a little more in depth. Well, and also like there was like a couple years ago we ran a wound care campaign for like a wound care.
Yes, I remember that. Yes,
with one of Zebra's partners, I think it was. So again, I think of wound as like a thing that you need to go to a hospital for because it is deep.
Yes,
it might require
stitches or something. Yes.
It might require some professional cleaning,
antibiotics of some sort.
Yes. Yeah. I think that is what, in a clinical sense, a wound is probably supposed to mean. I have a feeling, again, this is one of those things where the average person reading that goes, "Oh, well, sure, I get, I
can just put peroxide and a Band-Aid on it and I'm done.
If I scrape my knee, I can clean that up. I'm good. You know, just a little soap and water, a little peroxide, put some Neosporin on, put a Band-Aid on, I'm done."
So maybe it's in the wording.
If that is the criteria they were judging it on, then yes, I would hope you could handle that.
Well, even
unless there's like some 2-year-olds that were answering
94%, that's pretty high up there. That's only 6% of people saying, I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people care for wounds or like scrapes or something like that, just running under the water.
Well, true. Walk away.
True.
People probably don't do as much as
they're not doing what they should.
Yes, avoiding potential for infection.
And then the last one is making sense of nutrition labels.
This is an interesting one.
I mean, well, you think this is a little bit more interesting?
Well,
go ahead.
Because
you think there's a little bit of science here.
I don't know science, but now I know there's been efforts that I don't know how far they've really gone with these yet. Because I mean, I haven't stared at a nutrition label really in a while, but there has been a lot of discussion about making nutrition labels a lot more legible and readable and understandable, and not having polysorboglutamate, blah, 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 25 red GD, you know.
That's right.
Like all this random super chemical technical
You have no idea what it is.
Most people go, I don't get it.
Yeah.
So if that's the making sense of nutrition labels, but again, if this is just I can look at a label and see how many calories it has, how much fat it has, you know, understanding the difference between a saturated and polysaturated, which I get, again, a lot of people probably don't necessarily get that. That stuff, because the deeper you dive, can start getting a little bit trickier.
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
But so again, this is one of those where I'm curious, like, what did people really think that means?
But they probably just think, I can understand how many grams of sugar in it.
Right.
How many grams of sodium are in it, and I can equate it because they see the percentage,
which I think has been a helpful
30%
addition.
Too bad,
right?
You know?
Right,
bad.
Yeah, 50% of what I'm supposed to take for a day.
Yeah, no,
with
this is bad.
With one handful.
I think
of
that's how they're not going any, because I don't go a layer below that. I just kind of look at it like, oh my god, this is a ton of sodium. Next, I'm not eating.
Yeah, I'm over that age where like I look at the sodium, I look at the fiber.
Exactly, that's right.
Maybe the calories, depending on how I'm feeling that day. That's about it. So
I got a couple more riffs on this one. So at the very bottom, so 29% of people either definitely or probably think that they can, quote, fix a problem with a car engine. I don't know. That seems, even 30% seems kind of high. I mean, like the cars today are pretty modern. It was much more
on the probable side.
If they had asked this 20 years ago, I would totally believe that, because I think there were more guys under the hood. I mean, I know I changed my own oil.
Well, plus, like car companies have. It's well known that they've kind of engineered a lot of engines these days to not be fixable by the average consumer.
Yes,
like in part because there's a lot of
covers over.
Well, in part there's a lot of computerization too.
Yes,
which you actually do have to have some computer skill and be able to hook it up to the right machine in order to get the information you need out of it. But yes, to your point, I think it's just not a skill that's as common for the average consumer. And again, we also have a lot of vehicles that aren't meant to last a long time anymore.
Right.
Like there's a lot of planned obsolescence in vehicles that, like, if you get 10 years out of it, it's considered as like you made it pretty far.
Oh, that's what we try to get out of our cars. And it's like, people look at me, is that a historical vehicle? I'm like, no.
Speaking of which, I saw somebody was driving like what looked like a mid-2000s Honda Accord that had a historical vehicle license on it.
No way, really? Yes.
And it occurred to me, I'm like, well, that has been like 20 years ago.
Yes, it just has to be 25 years old.
I guess that probably counts, so.
You could get them on So 2 more here. Explaining what yeast does in baking bread. 83% of people feel like they could explain that.
I mean, is it just saying it makes the bread rise? Because if that's it,
I get, okay, if it's that, then we're all
I feel like there was a lot of these questions that they didn't explain, like, because if they'd asked, like, can you explain the chemical processes within yeast that makes that does something when you bake bread, then that number would have been like, nope.
Well, then my next one is, so 76% of people feel like they can navigate using a compass outdoors. Now, in the very simplistic term, okay, I'm pointed west. Yes, I guess I could do that, and I think 76% of people, okay, but like, are you going to ask me to navigate to a spot just using a compass?
Sure, I use the compass on my phone, which also has Apple Maps on it and tells me which way is west.
I don't know. I mean, navigation is, I don't know, was a strong word. Anyway, click on the link. They only ask you a few questions that they have on there, but it's good stuff.
But you're right. I think there is some overconfidence there. And I do again think that the wording of the questions might have been made people feel a little more confident than they should have been. I'm glad you said what you did about the car thing, because I was worried this was going to be one of those where Dean was going to be like, no one knows how to take care of their cars anymore.
No.
And I'm like, I can change my battery.
Yeah,
I
that's
can
about it.
swap out windshield wipers.
That's it. Wipers, washer fluid.
I've changed a headlight, but that was on a very old car.
Yes.
I don't think now I can even get to the headlights anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's almost impossible to do that without dismantling a lot of other stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I just think, especially any car that's been made in the last like 10 to 15 years, I just think it's intentional that they don't want you under the.
It's really hard to do.
In some instances, it can dissolve your warranty or
Absolutely.
So
But I mean, I remember back in the day, I did my own oil. Now my brother-in-law is a mechanic, so maybe some confidence there. But changing out spark plugs, turning rotors. So that you could get a little bit more life out. We would do stuff like that. I wouldn't do any of that stuff now. Yeah. Like I'm not doing spark plug. What? Because to your point, it might mess up the computer. Like the computer's like, what did you do? Now it's not going to run. Yeah.
Well, like I had my last battery change, like one of the caps or whatever, the connector points or something, was just like totally fused and melted. And it was a real pain in the ass to get that off. And it ended up taking me like 3 hours for something that should have been a simple task. And it was one of those things that made me go, maybe I should have just called someone to take care of this. Like I've wasted a lot of time. And then my father-in-law comes out and he's like, oh, this is harder than I thought it would be. I'm like, see?
Right. See? No, there you go. So anyway, let's go over to Netflix now. What's going on over there?
I'll keep this one pretty brief.
You're away from home.
So Netflix is always looking to figure out like what they can do to be the next step in streaming and, win the streaming wars, as they are in a pitched battle with Paramount over buying HBO and those properties at the moment. But apparently, with the thing they are really aiming for is going vertical, which is leaning into people using their phones to watch content. Now, I'm going to sound like an old man that I very much am.
Yes.
I hate this.
I hate this too. I haven't even read the article, but I don't like it.
I've seen people that do watch a lot of programming on their phones, like
in vertical format, not horizontal.
Yeah, either one, but even well, and that's I think
sideways
that's part
at
of it.
16:9, so it's,
but still, even that, like the screen's just too damn small.
It is
sorry,
too small.
Like,
I agree.
Especially for it depends on what you're watching, but some films need the biggest screen you can watch them on.
Yeah,
and I get that. Hey, we're not all going to the theaters anymore. I don't go to the theater as much as I used to in any context anymore.
But you're right. How do you get cinematography in this little itty bitty screen, right?
And especially and sorry to all you young folks out there, but when you get to be old dudes like us, your eyes start getting a lot worse. And even with nice glasses and all the other stuff, it gets harder and harder to see what's going on little screens.
Okay, so little screens you're not a fan of.
So, but I know where this is coming from is because, TikTok, for example, and Instagram Reels and stuff or whatever, where, the short form vertical video content is becoming extremely popular. There's obviously, again, people are spending more time on their phones than anywhere else. They tend to consume a lot more content on their phones. As a marketer, I understand this. And,
yes.
We intentionally try to make a lot of video that has
true.
Vertical capabilities as well. But and Netflix recently rolled out podcasts, which include a lot of video elements, obviously. Which I get their thing there. My big thing is the day that someone tells me that one of the best news shows on Netflix is something I basically have to watch on my phone, I'm gonna be pissed. Or they'll be like, well, you can watch it on your TV, but it's still going to be the size of the phone in the middle of a giant black screen.
I don't like it. Yeah.
That I'm not going to be happy.
I don't like it.
And it's and part of, again, why this is happening is like on TikTok, for instance, like very short form, like almost like soap opera drama content is becoming a big deal.
Really?
Where it's like, you watch like 3 or 4 minutes of a bigger story.
Okay.
And then you get fed another chunk, once a week or a couple times a week.
So it's really distilling like what would be an hour-long show, like a soap opera, down to 5 snippets of 4 minutes.
And it's essentially acknowledging short attention span and everyone's staring at their phones.
Yep.
So let's give them content on their phones that fits the phone format, but also is in short chunks. So we're not expecting them to sit still for half an hour to watch.
That's just crazy, right? We just keep bowing to endorphins and like getting those little hits and 3-minute chunks. But I'm with you here. Just like you can only do so much in the vertical. There's no cinematography
exactly.
Here. It's just like a conversation. Like you just see people talk.
It's got to be 2 talking heads in close proximity to each other, or just a lot of like moving back and forth transitions and hypercuts.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No thanks.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Get off my phone.
So Netflix is actually producing this kind of content.
Yes, this is their next step as they want to expand their vertical video offerings. They've already started with the podcasts, but they're also trying to figure out like, hey, how can we continue to do this? The other thing is I worry about is that maybe as they're developing new content that is meant more for the broader streaming platform, that to again to that point that they start deliberately thinking like, how can we shoot this so that it looks good on vertical video?
Yes, I see.
That is going to annoy me also.
Yeah.
If it becomes very clear to me, I was like, there's a weird choice that was made here where you got all this space and yet everything seems to be clumped together. Yeah. I know what you're doing here, Netflix. I know what you're doing.
I see you working. That's right. We're getting old, and maybe we should move into some safe suburbs. Because there's a new ranking of safe suburbs that are out there.
Okay, let's hear it.
So we'll go through this real quick, but of course, and we'll riff on this in just a second, but the cities were compared across 5 safety metrics, including reported crime, check, lethal car accidents, okay, drug overdose and deaths, okay, excessive drinking. Well, I don't know why that one's in there, but I'll come back to that one. So if you want to be safe,
drunk driving or just I don't know, people drinking too much and harming other people. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, what is it? What is that accounting for? I don't. Is it bar fights? Is it? I don't know.
Domestic violence? It could be. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to be safe, unfortunately, whatever. You have to go to Utah,
or fortunately, if you're already there,
or Maryland. Now that one I didn't understand. So these Utah and Maryland suburbs are the safest in America. So it's Lehigh, Utah, that ranks as the first with the lowest rate of excessive drinking, and it just ranks first across the board. So that is your number one place to go to. But coming in at second is Bethesda, Maryland, which is one that I would not have ever guessed that to be the case.
I can't be honest, I've never been to any of these places. So
okay, so and then Layton, Utah is number 3, and then Rockville, Maryland is number 4. So 4 out of the top 5 are either in Utah or Maryland. I just wouldn't have guessed. Utah, I would have guessed because there's just not a lot going on in Utah. It's pretty. I guess you got Mormons and stuff like that out there, and it's just there's not a lot of crime. There's not a lot of that. But Maryland, I don't know, that one for me has surprised me quite a bit. So those are the best places to go to. The worst places, serendipitously enough, the worst place is in Maryland. It's Aberdeen, Maryland. But then you've got places like in Georgia, Addison, Texas, Michigan. You've got some places in there. I guess the biggest one that I've heard of is Alpharetta, Georgia, which comes in, I think, the 6th worst, I guess, based on this, crime, or what's the safest suburb out there. So anyway, you can go to this and kind of toggle it, which I love to do. What is the crime per capita and stuff like that. So for example, the best place to go to that has the least amount of crime per capita is actually Spring, Texas, of all places. And Northbrook, Illinois is up there. Northbrook is just a suburb of Chicago, which is a little bit surprising there. But
I noticed that too because I was looking through the top 10 here, and Elmhurst and Oak Brook are both just outside of Chicago. I've been to both of those places. I had friends that used to live in those areas, those suburbs outside of Chicago. And they're less than. They're about the same distance from here to Cincinnati, maybe 15, 20 minute drive into downtown, and I think people don't typically associate proximity to cities as safe, but those are considered as safe communities.
There you go.
What stood out to me here is, because I'm always interested in the etymology of these, surveys. And I appreciate that this one wasn't just about crime, because I feel like sometimes people do that whole safe thing about crime and it's one of those things with the caveat of, for the most part, most places you go in America are pretty safe from a crime perspective.
Yes.
When you look at these percentages, even the worst ones are not even cracking 1% on per capita crime. They're not.
But let me riff on that for just a second, because the worst one is Bernalillo, New Mexico, which is outside of Albuquerque. They have the word, and it's not a little bit. It's 0.28, to your point, well below 1%.
Right.
But 0.28, the next closest one is 0.08. So it's 4x is
what
worse.
What going on there, man? Yeah.
What is going on in Bernalillo,
that's where
New
Walter
Mexico?
White's blue meth lab was set up at or something,
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead. You're saying...
Well, I just say, I appreciated they added stuff like the motor vehicle crashes, drug overdoses, drinking, the income stuff, housing availability, because I think a lot of that can lend itself to the overall safety versus... I feel like sometimes when we talk about where things are safe, it's where are you least likely to get shot or mugged or robbed? In a reality... the vast majority of us are never going to experience that in our lives.
That's true.
And even in places that we think may be unsafe, probably are a lot safer than we actually realize.
Yes.
So I think it's important when these kind of things point out that, hey, there's a little bit more to, a little more nuance to safety than just, just is someone going to kick your door in and point a gun at you and try to rob you or something?
That's right.
To be fair, I'm much more concerned about walking outside and the drunk driver or the idiot that doesn't know how to drive.
So then, according to this, because you can toggle on this and see where the most adults are engaged in excessive drinking, all of them are in Wisconsin. Or Iowa. The top 3 are Wisconsin. Then you got some Iowa folks in there. Then another Wisconsin city. Then another Wisconsin.
Cold and access to a lot of beer. I guess.
And then Colorado starts popping in there. But the top 10, it's like 6 or 7 of them are all Wisconsin suburbs.
That's funny. Well,
anyway,
on a related note,
yes,
I had this on my list. And I purposely, when I saw you put yours out, I'm like, well, I'm going to throw mine into as an additional add-on here. Another visual capitalist survey and graphic, the safest states in America.
There you go.
But again, the criteria here is a little on the different side because yes, they did consider crime as a factor, but they also dug into things like, it basically says safety is shaped by far more than just crime rates. It reflects how well states protect residents financially, prepare for emergencies, maintain road safety, and enforce workplace standards.
So
it's taking all of that together to assess risks across the country.
Oh man, some states are going to fail.
Well, yes.
I see Texas failed.
Here's what's interesting on this. So if you want to go to a safe state where they're covering all those bases and ensuring your safety on a lot of different areas, go to New England, apparently.
Yes,
because the top 5 are in New England. You've got Vermont, you've got Rhode Island, you've got the top 4. Sorry, Vermont, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Maine are the top 4. Number 5 out to Utah. So Utah,
there you go. Utah
came in on both of them there.
That's fair.
But then if we're looking at the bottom of the list, it's the South.
It's all the South.
So basically, the bottom 5 are Louisiana at the dead last.
So red states are not safe. Blue states are safe. That's what I'm reading from this.
Mississippi is second to last on the bottom. Then you've got Texas, Florida, and Arkansas. In fact, the only state, if you would consider it even south, that I think that falls in the top half is North Carolina.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of a blue state. So
I guess, or Kentucky. I guess if you want to consider Kentucky
there we go.
Kentucky. Some people like to say Kentucky's the South. I think we tend to call it more Midwest, at least here in Northern Kentucky,
for sure.
But they're at the 20 mark. So and then Ohio's at 29.
Now I'm a little surprised California is so low, 38. Is it just because that's a massive population?
I feel like that probably has a lot to do with it. And again, I started because I was thinking that too. I was looking at those factors they mentioned, like emergency preparedness, road safety, workplace standards. Like, is it just because there's just so many people and so much area there that it's harder? I mean, is that maybe part of the problem with Texas as well?
Yeah,
like, is it just a matter of because if you look at like smaller states, those tend to be higher, smaller and sparsely populated.
Yes,
tend to be higher. The weird out of nowhere caveat though, two of them I think. Yeah, Montana, which is at 39.
Ooh, that's true.
Colorado at 44.
What's wrong with Colorado? Oh,
now I will say
Denver's got some issues.
Denver does. Yeah. Colorado also has had a lot of issues with natural disaster stuff. Because I lived in Colorado for a while,
like snow related.
80s. Well, it's not just that. If you remember, like this was about probably been about 15 years ago now. They had some massive rainstorms followed by massive floods and wildfires, all in the place of like a 5-month span.
That's
over the
probably
course
what's dinging California too. Then.
So I wonder if that's a good point. You get the wildfire stuff there. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if that had contributed a lot. I mean, I didn't go as far as you didn't go click in and read on all these, but I have a feeling that probably has a lot of impact on.
You're right though, Colorado,
on those two
bottom
states.
of the barrel there. I mean, that's a beautiful state. Come on.
I mean, and
we got to clean things up there.
Kind of a sparse state. I mean, outside of like Denver and Colorado Springs, there's not a lot of densely populated area there.
So. A lot of. So you're saying in order to be safe, we got to move to New England or Utah?
Apparently,
basically that's what it boils down to.
If you want to be legitimately safe, I mean, again, I feel pretty good about Kentucky at 20. That's
not bad.
We're around middle of the pack. I think we do okay. Yeah. Really, a lot of the Northeast and East Coast is pretty solid.
Indiana's almost in the top 10.
Yeah, number 11.
That's not bad.
That was interesting too. So there you go.
All right, fair enough.
There's some safe states, safe communities for you if you're thinking of moving anytime soon. We got you covered. Again, Maryland, Utah, I guess, are the two to really put your time and effort into.
Yes.
All right, before we wrap things up with another random rant about some topic we're talking about, let's quickly talk about what's happening around BlueStar Nation. BlueStar webinars are back, ramping up for the new year.
How many we got? We got a lot scheduled?
We have I know there's at least 7 or 8 vendors that are sponsoring some this year. So there should be a good amount, which is good because we didn't have quite as many as I would have liked last year. But if you're looking for new partners, new products, hot trends, but you don't have the time to go out and research or follow dozens of companies and read a bunch of newsletters and whatnot, BlueStar webinars can be a great resource for you to get the latest news and new opportunities straight from industry experts, hardware manufacturers, ISVs, and our BlueStar team as well. Each webinar is typically less than an hour. Sometimes they don't even stretch much further than half an hour. They provide critical overviews of technologies, new products that are coming on the market, hot trends that everyone's paying attention to, and the opportunity to ask questions live. So if you're listening or watching one live, you can ask questions of the panelists and get those answered for you. This year already, we've had Microtouch did one at the very start of the year. They kicked it off with a discussion on ruggedized convenience. And there are, again, many more to come. I'm expecting some as early as March potentially to get out there. So get yourself signed up to pay attention to these. Check out, there's a link in the show notes where you can bookmark a page.
Oh, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
Not only do they have the ability to witness it live, but can they also get it on demand later?
Exactly.
There you go.
So even if you can't watch at the time, it's scheduled. We usually do them like Wednesdays at 2:00. That's not a good time for you. That's fine. You sign up anyway. And you get a recording link sent to you. I typically get those out within like 2 hours after the webinar ending. So you can still watch it the same day and check back in on it.
There you go.
So go to the link in the show notes. There's a page there where we will always put up the new ones as they are coming out so you can register. You can also see some of the more recent older ones on demand to watch again as well. Or make sure you are following us on LinkedIn, subscribe to our newsletters. We're always putting that information out there as well. So keep up with BlueStar webinars. Great way to learn about what's happening out in the channel from the comfort of your own desk, wherever that may be.
There you
go. While you're doing that, take a moment as always to like, subscribe, hit that button, give us a review, leave us a rating, tell us what you think about the show, what you want to hear about. Check out our BlueStar Nation blog.
Give us some Pulse ideas. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, we've rebranded the Pulse. What's your pulse right now?
What do we need to riff on?
What's some fun stuff you have ideas on? And you can send the ideas in too. Like if you're like, hey, I read this, here's what I thought about it.
Yeah.
We'll give you a shout out. We'll share your thoughts too. It doesn't have to just be us talking about this stuff all the time.
It could be a picture of your puppy and we just riff on that. So, see, pet.
There you go.
Trying to figure out a way to
the all pet episode. It's just
pet pictures and
like
the
45
Pulse.
minutes of us just talking about pets.
There it is.
It would either be our lowest or highest rated episode ever.
Yes, exactly.
Probably the highest.
Probably the highest, yes, of course.
Be like, this is what your podcast needs to be from now on. Send us those ideas, nation@bluestarinc.com. All right, Dean, let's wrap up as always with what's on our radar.
Yes.
Which is where, basically just like we just did, we're going to talk about something in the world of tech, science, business, innovation.
Yes.
But we'll keep it a little bit shorter this time. What's on your radar
we will?
right now?
Okay. All right, so let's play a little mental game. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, you're out in a hot desert. It's hot.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's hard to equate that to the cold we're in right now, but
it kind of sounds great, actually.
It's really hot. Okay. Right? Nothing in sight. Just oases out there. You've been baking for hours. Are you thirsty yet? Do you need some water?
Probably.
Hey, well, engineers use ultrasonic waves to shake water molecules out of the air, a method which is 45 times more efficient than heat-based systems. So there's hope for you, my friend. All you need is this little ultrasonic
You know what this is screaming to me, right?
Oh, what's that?
Star Wars, moisture evaporation.
Yes, that was my next point. Didn't Luke? Wasn't he a moisture farmer?
Moisture farmer, yeah.
Well, this is the technology he probably used. So engineers have figured it out. They have a way. MIT engineers have come up with a way to quickly recover water from atmospheric water, harvesting that material rather than waiting for the sun to evaporate water, which takes so long. Right? Who's got the time? The team uses ultrasonic waves to shake water out of the air. So when a water harvesting material is known as a sorbent is placed on this device, the device emits ultrasonic waves. that are tuned to shake the water molecules out of the sorbent, and then it produces the water. So boom,
cool.
just like that. I have no idea how big this machine is, or if it's like pocket size, or if it's the size of a car.
Practicality.
I don't know, but they figured out how to just shake water out of the atmosphere.
There you go.
45 times, what got me is 45 times more efficient than just heat-based, like sun or whatever. So maybe this is what Luke was using. I don't know.
It could be, yeah.
Well, when we start exploring these faraway planets
that's exactly what I was thinking. This could be useful for terraforming, yeah.
There you go. We need this type of technology, so it's out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Sorry to put you in the mental, of needing a drink. I need a drink of water real quick. So what's on your radar?
I'm going to talk with a dry mouth now because I couldn't drink. All right, so let's talk a little about singing. Do you like to sing, Dean?
No.
I know you're a drummer.
No, I don't sing at all.
You don't do the singing.
But for the purpose of this exercise, sure. Okay. I mean, everybody sings in the shower, right? I mean, like...
Well, yeah. I'm a big fan of the singing. I don't have any... My musical talent is limited pretty much to singing.
But you sing?
I mean, I can
as a part of a choir or solo.
No, I've been known to partake in karaoke. I used to be a big karaoke guy.
All right, sir.
For quite some time. Nice. I haven't really done it in a long time, but I used to be a big fan of that. And I just like singing in general. Like I will belt out a tune in the car sometimes. And depending on who's around me, I don't care. It's one of those things. Like I'm okay with.
Do you have a genre that you prefer over none? I mean, you got to be comfortable with the band, right?
Well, yeah, and you also got to learn like what your vocal range is too. What you can handle.
I have zero range,
which may be another reason why I like the band Oasis, because Noel Gallagher, who is in your he is like dead on in my vocal range. Like I tend to match up very well with what.
All right, sir.
Anyway, singing not only is just something that can be fun to do and fun that we all like listen to, there are actual surprising health benefits, apparently.
Hey!
So this was a Modern Met article that talked about the potential health benefits of belting out your favorite tunes. And this is also whether you are good at singing or not. It's not about, being a good at singer. It's not about, having good pitch or anything. Just doing the activity. So they say singing stimulates the vagus nerve, which runs from the brain through the throat and vocal cords to organs throughout the body. So as part of the parasympathetic nervous system, it helps regulate breathing, heart rate, digestion, and research suggests that a stronger vagal tone is linked to better physical and mental health, as well as faster return to calm after stress. And basically it said then you get into stuff like reducing stress, which can help with strengthening your immune system. Singing's been found to help reduce pain and improve people's heart rate and blood pressure. Said one study even suggests that singing can give the heart and lungs a workout similar to a brisk walk on a treadmill.
I believe it. I believe it.
Especially I hear from some of the the superstars that are out there winning stadium tours and stuff, and like the work they have to do to get their vocal pipes ready to do that. That has to be like a workout.
100% it is. Yeah.
Not maybe the same, not using the same muscles, but still actually doing something useful.
Yeah.
And in particular, an example they pointed out. Gabby Giffords, the congresswoman who was shot some years ago and suffered a gunshot wound to her head. And as part of her therapy, her speech therapy, to help her regain her speech, they had her singing familiar songs from her childhood. I
love it.
And it was a way to help her regain her verbal fluency over time.
I'll be darned.
Because those memory engrams are very strongly embedded. It's why you're able to recall song lyrics so well.
For sure.
Even a song maybe you haven't actually heard or sung in a very long time can come back to you very quickly because it's so deeply embedded. So there you go.
What I was laughing at is like most songs, I don't really know what the lyrics are.
But I
have my own lyrics to them.
My wife is very much one of those people.
Yeah.
It cracks me up to no eggs. Well, sometimes I'll be singing along
to something. Are you a purist? Like you have to have the right words?
I try, yes.
Well, everybody tries, but I mean like...
Yeah, I'm that guy that when I'm watching, like if I'm listening on Apple Music, I hit the button to read along
now
the
we
lyrics,
all have a crutch, which is Apple Music. But back in the day, unless it was on the inside
to this day, I still do not know the proper lyrics for Pearl Jam's Yellow Ledbetter. I have seen at least 50 different versions of that song's lyrics, and no one seems inclined to actually reveal what the true lyrics are.
I see.
So that is one I feel like you just do whatever you like and you're fine. Because the song doesn't seem like it makes sense one way or the other.
So I'm going to keep singing in the car all by myself. Now I know that it has therapeutic benefits. But I'm just going to make up my own
maybe if you've
lyrics.
had a hard day at work or you're road raging, you just start belting along. Maybe not heavy metal. That might not help.
But I don't feel bad that I don't know the lyrics. Like I'm just singing along.
That's right. It doesn't matter.
All right.
You're improving your mental health and well-being and maybe even getting some exercise in just by belting it out. All right. That is what's on our radar this week.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Erwin, for watching. Send your pulse ideas into us. And now you can watch this podcast on your phone, I guess.
Yeah, we're in vertical.
Yeah, we're just going to start sitting a lot closer together. Just scrunch things up a little bit.
Two heads. Yeah.
We'll invert our screen behind us here,
exactly.
and just put it sideways or something. I'm sure Marco will appreciate that. We'll see you out there in the nation.